All right. So, hello everyone.
Hello.
So yeah, I was wanting to do a little panel. I got a hold of Aniwave. Aniwave is kind of special to me because it was my first convention I went to last year, and I had a really fun experience. And I got a hold of them, and they found out that I'm from here. They're like, "You're a local YouTuber. I do a podcast," and they're like, "Why don't you do a panel?" Because this is something I've always kind of wanted to do. Because I've been doing YouTube and doing my podcast now for about like 2 years, and everything is self-taught. I taught everything about the microphones, editing, stuff like that, and I think the YouTube experience that I've had in the last 2 years has just been amazing. Just connecting with all sorts of people all over the world. I have people that watch me, from Ukraine and Russia, Germany, as well as people here in town. And I actually met a lot of people here in town that have YouTube channels, and you really start to experience how small the community is. But I do a YouTube channel on video games, retro, modern, talking a lot about memories and a lot of nostalgia. That's the thing I love the most, is nostalgia. I love talking about my memories of like the Dreamcast or the NES, stuff like that. And when I first started it, I started off with just a idea, just a little hobby. I was like, hey, I watched a lot of people like Happy Console Gamer, the Game Chasers, Pete Door, Gamester 81. I watched a lot of them, and I was like, I want to do this. And surprisingly enough, the way I started doing a YouTube channel was with a cell phone, and through time I progressed and got a camera and stuff like that. So kind of what I wanted to do on this panel is kind of tell you guys how to start it, and then at the end, if you guys have any questions, answer some of that as well. But I think the first thing of starting a YouTube channel, of course, would be just an idea. And a lot of people can have ideas, and they can have a lot of what they want to do, and it's kind of discouraging because YouTube is so big, and you're like, well, I kind of want to review video games, but reviewing video games, everyone does that. But I guess the main thing that you want to keep in mind is no one else reviews a game like you do. You want to put your own spin into everything, and it's funny, because I started off doing the podcast first, because I've always loved talk radio. That's what I've always loved. And I started listening to a lot of video game podcasts, and so I started doing my podcast, and then I was like, I want to start a YouTube channel. And a YouTube channel at first was just going to be updating all my podcasts. Like, I was going to make a video a week being like, hey, I'm going to do a new episode this week on my favorite fighting games. Well, then it started turning into something else, started turning into doing reviews, doing pickups, and it's kind of like turned into two different things now. So that's really what it started. But I think the main thing that you want to start off is an idea. Of course, you want to have a camera, and you don't really have to have like the best camera. I know a lot of YouTubers that use their cell phones, that use webcams, and over time you can progress. And of course, editing. If you guys check out my YouTube channel, honestly, I don't use the most professional editing. I use Windows Movie Maker. But the thing is I utilize those tools, and I've talked to some bigger YouTubers that were like, what do you use to edit? And I tell them, and it surprised them. And a lot of that's because of what I do with Windows Movie Maker. And I think that's the thing. What tools you do have with editing and video production, if you put a lot of passion into it, people are going to see it. So that's the main thing. Also, I've learned that audio is very, very important. Not just video, but audio. You can have the worst video quality. You can look like you're coming out of a trash can. But if you have good audio, if you can actually hear your voice, if you have some good music in the background, you'll catch people's eyes a lot quicker. So some good microphones are really, really affordable, especially for podcasting or YouTube. A great brand would be Blue microphones. They're standard USB microphones. You can get what they call Blue Snowball on Amazon for like $40. you know. And so when you want to start a podcast, get something like a Blue Snowball microphone. Use Skype. Skype is one of the best tools for a podcast, especially like my co-host. He is in Fayetteville, so we don't get to spend time and get in the same room and do a podcast. So we use Skype. You use Skype. It's free. Also, MP3 Skype recorder. That's a free program that records the conversation. Then you can use something like Audacity, another free program that you can put up, and you can edit the podcast, because there'll be, of course, you're using Skype, so you'll have hiccups. You know, sometimes you'll have drop connections. Sometimes you want to make an intro, an outro. You can use Audacity for that. And then you can broadcast your podcast on websites like Podomatic.com, Podbean, and they have simple RSS feeds that you can sync and go into iTunes. So I do Excess Game podcasts and my YouTube, but I also do 2 other podcasts. One is called I Got Gameplay, and another one is Entertainment Talk Nation. And it's been a really fun experience. So, but is there any questions you guys want to know about with podcasting? Yes.
What would you say is the most difficult part about like getting an audience?
Honestly, the thing is, when you're doing YouTube, it can be kind of discouraging. I will go ahead and admit, it will be discouraging as hell. When you first put up your first video, you're going to hate it. That's just the way it is. You kind of find a groove. And of course, you're going to use tags. There's a couple of different programs that you put in to find good tags. I mean, if you're doing a video on Nintendo, you're going to be wanting to put tags like Nintendo, Nintendo Wii, Mario, you know, stuff like that, so people can find it easily on YouTube. But a good way to do the audience is to keep in mind that YouTube is a social media. So if people comment, people subscribe to you, check out their channels, start networking. I mean, that's kind of how I started. When I first started, it took me a long time to get just 100 subscribers. But just don't feel discouraged, and just keep in mind that you're doing it for fun. I don't make any money doing YouTube. I know people that make a little bit of money doing YouTube, but if you're ever trying to go into it as a quick, rich type of thing, you're gonna be disappointed. Because I mean, it's something that you definitely have to have a passion for. Definitely. So, but yeah, was there any more? More questions?
What if you're doing like how-to videos rather than just reviews, or reviewing something while you're how-to?
Yeah.
Like, say I have this really small red arm netbook about this big, and I've spent the past weekend modding it and recording myself modding it. I haven't edited the video yet. I think I'll make that first video.
That'd be really cool. And then, yeah, you could definitely, I mean, make that. A lot of people do those kind of videos, like the how-to, especially mods. Actually, there's a lot of stuff I've looked up on YouTube. Like, a good example would be like an NES. You know, everyone that's played an NES, you guys know it has that red blinking light. And you have to blow the cartridge, put it in, wiggle it around, hold that reset button. Well, actually, the NES, the reason why it's blinking is because it has a lockout connector on it. That's defective. Nintendo made these consoles to keep people from playing PAL games and play pirated games. So they had that lockout. Problem is the lockout starts to wear out, and all you have to do is open up your Nintendo, and it's like a little piece of solder you just take off. But I wouldn't have known about that if it wasn't for a how-to video, you know, because I don't know anything about electronics. So something like that, especially with PC modding. PC's gotten so freaking big now in just the last couple of years thanks to Steam. So many more people now are playing PC gaming than ever, especially in the 90s. The 90s and PC gaming was not that big, but it's getting big now. So that'd be really cool.
PC gaming master race.
Yeah, I will say I'm more of a console guy, but PC gaming, I mean, it's the stuff you can do on it now is just amazing. It's spectacular. And of course, Steam. Every time Steam comes out and I see like a Humble Bundle, it makes me cry. It makes me cry so much. I'm like, oh man, I could have like 20 games for $5. So.
Yeah, really waste your whole life. Well, I wouldn't call it wasted.
Nah.
Absorbed.
Yes.
So, like, what do you do on your YouTube channel?
On my YouTube channel, I mean, I do all sorts of things. I do unboxing, reviews, and one of the things I really love to do is like nostalgic stories. You know, talking about my experience about a certain video game or certain story. Also filming like midnight releases. I remember, you know, when Halo 4 came out, we filmed a little midnight release for that. I interviewed people, and that's another thing too. You gotta keep in mind that, you know, when you're going out interviewing people, a lot of people don't like to be on camera. You have to ask them, and it's kind of awkward. So if you're naturally kind of like an introvert person, YouTube is actually a really good tool to get yourself out there and kind of become more comfortable around people. Because over the years, I've become more comfortable being around. I mean, obviously, doing a panel like this 2 years ago, I would have been too nervous to do this. I'm like, yeah, you know, YouTube. So I mean, you start to kind of blossom out a little bit, and you start to meet a lot of good people, a lot of cool people. So, is there any more questions? Yes.
What would you do as a first timer on YouTube?
As a first timer?
Like when you first start your account on YouTube, you want to film a video. What would you do?
Like, what was my first video?
Yeah, like what was your first video?
My first video. My first video was introducing my podcast. Then my second video, actually my second video was kind of cool. The second video was called, I called it a gruesome package, because my co-host, his name's James Gruesome, and he sent me, you know, he lives in Fayetteville, so he sent me some video games. Well, I had some problems with the post office. They didn't send me the video games. I had to go to the post office to get the video games. So that's what was my video. My video was me going downtown, going to the post office and picking up my video games. And it sounds really weird, but you know, filming downtown, talking a little bit about Wilmington, picking up the games. Then when I got the games, I did an unboxing, I talked about the games, had a little bit short reviews and stuff like that. It was really, really cool, and it was just like a weird, sporadic idea that I had, and a lot of people were like, that's really, really cool. So never be too scared about your ideas too. I mean, there's people that just film themselves going to flea markets and finding video games, or just picking up video games and talking about them. A lot of people are into that sort of thing. So yeah, definitely. Did anybody have any more questions? But yeah, I mean, I would say, like, you know, if any of you guys here are contemplating, thinking the idea of like, oh, I want to start a YouTube channel, don't be discouraged. It's a lot of fun. Yes.
What about stuff out commentary, just blank video with music in the background? I'm a fire dancer.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. Like almost like a blog type of thing.
I guess so.
Yeah, like. So I mean, like, that's another thing too. Like, if you don't want to be in front of camera.
No, I mean, like, I dance. You know,
Oh, okay.
Film it.
Yeah.
Bad footage of me fire dancing.
That would be great. And you never. That's the thing about YouTube. You never. There's so much stuff. Not just gaming, not just anime, not just movie reviews, but you can do like a how-to video, like how to fire dance. You know, because I mean, there could be some people. You never know. Your audience is so unpredictable. You might hit a whole new like thing right there where people are. Because I know people that do like the hula hoops and like, you know, fire dance. I always thought it'd be cool to spit out fire, like Gene Simmons. I always thought that'd be cool. So I mean, like, you could do something like that.
That's all on YouTube already.
Yeah. Well, but it's not your stuff. That's the thing. It's not your personality, and you know. So I mean, like, you never know. You never know till you try it. That's the biggest thing is trying it, and just like I said, don't get discouraged. You know, because I've put a lot of time into videos. Like, there's videos that's took me like 12 hours to film, edit, driving. I mean, we went out of town to like flea markets and stuff like that. And I would be like, this is the video right here. This is the one I'm going to get like 2,000 views. I'm going to get tons of subscribers. And I'd get like 4 views and no comments. And like, I know those 4 views, 3 of them were mine because I was just wanting to watch it. So I mean, like, you got to kind of have kind of have to have a kind of thick skin. And I guess another thing I should get into is the biggest thing in the internet is trolls. You know, comments. You know, people are not always going to be nice. But I'll go ahead and give you guys a little funny thing about trolls. Sometimes trolls and people that dislike your videos are sometimes your biggest fans. The reason why I say that is because they're the ones that always want to watch your videos, and even though they say nasty things, they're kind of giving your channel relevance, you know, because every time they watch your videos and every time they want to say something bad, YouTube gets that in the database and someone else can find your videos. So welcome trolls. Don't feed them. You know, don't, you know, if they're calling you names and stuff like that, don't pay attention to it. Just let them, and the bigger you are, the more trolls you're going to get, you know. But there's a big difference between trolls and people with criticisms. You know, I've had people that, you know, left me comments on my videos about your music was too loud, or, you know, your camera was off center, you know, stuff like that. And to me, that was kind of nice. I'm like, all right, well, I'll take that in mind. There's a big difference from that and, you know, you look stupid. You know? Which sometimes there's been videos that did look kind of stupid, you know, but you just had to take it as a grain of salt. And that's anything with media, you know. Yes. Yeah, like I said, last year, it was my first convention. Aniwave was my first convention, and it was definitely, that's what got me started. Oh yeah? A little bit. Oh yeah. I remember that, yeah.
I was that one kid with the afro-headed guy who was dancing in the background.
Yeah. Oh, thanks guys, thanks. Yeah, I remember that. And again, I was nervous. I was nervous going up to strangers and filming them and being like, hey guys, I have a YouTube channel. Yes? This is my first panel. Yeah. I don't know.
I think it's the convention center. Like, it just goes out throughout everything, even if, like, something else is happening. It was
this is we're about to wrap up a little bit, but it's a YouTube, podcast panel.
It wasn't as loud because they were doing other stuff.
Yeah, we're going to wrap up in just a little bit, but I mean, like, if you guys want to
kind of like sounded out.
ask a quick question or anything like that.
It's an advertisement. Yeah.
See you, man. But yeah, I'm probably going to wrap this up a little bit just because I was a little bit behind schedule, but I'm glad that you guys did come out, and I'm hoping after this panel, anything you guys were kind of just wondering or just being like, I want to start a YouTube, I want to start a podcast, I hope after today you guys kind of have a little bit better of an idea of it. I think the main thing I want to say before I close it is overall just have fun. Have fun doing it. Meet lots of great people. You know, if there's a YouTuber that you like to watch, don't be scared to talk to them. They may seem like celebrities, but they're not. even like, you know, I've talked to some people on YouTube that have like over 80,000 subscribers, and I'm like, this person would never talk to me, and now we're like best friends. So I mean, don't be too discouraged, and overall just have fun. But, yes.
A couple questions because I came in a little bit late, but what is it that you do for your videos on YouTube?
I do a video game YouTube, and it's a little bit of everything. I do unboxings, I do reviews, nostalgic stories, filming midnight releases, going to flea markets.
So is your style of filming like you're picking up a camcorder kind of thing and you're walking around doing it, or is it like you place it on tripod and record yourself kind of?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the video.
Mm-hmm.
Most of my videos, like, they're very chill. I have like my table, my microphone. I'm like behind some games. I'm just basically doing what I'm doing right here. Just sit here and I talk to you guys or talk to the viewers.
Yeah.
And, you know, just talk about whatever's on my mind. You know, sometimes there might be something that goes on gaming news I want to talk about. You know, or talk about, like, recently PlayStation turned 20 years old. I made a video talking about, you know, when I first played the PlayStation when I was like 10, you know, and that's another thing too. You sort of realize how old you are when you're doing these kind of videos. Like I was like, wow, I played Dragon Quest on the NES 23 years ago. Wow. And then I realized I'm about to turn 30. But yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of everything. I mean, I do some of the videos where I'm holding the camera and like, you know, we're going on a road trip. You know, I filmed, actually my drummer right there that's filming. When he turned 21, we went to Apex in Raleigh, and that was my video of us filming going to Apex in Raleigh, and it was so funny because it actually snowed. It actually snowed during that time, so it was like we had like a little bit of a conflict because we were like, we're gonna film, we're gonna go to flea markets, we're gonna, you know, do all this, and it started snowing, so it was like it had a little bit of conflict. We're like, oh no, it's snowing. Is the flea market still gonna be open? And they weren't. There weren't as many open, but we still went there and we got some games. And he turned 21, so we drank lots of alcohol and
took a video of me sleeping on the floor, you know, passed out.
But yeah, I mean that's the thing, and of course, you know, Let's Plays. I've dabbled a little bit with Let's Plays. I'm still trying to get some better capturing equipment for that. And Let's Plays are really hard. I think out of all the YouTube videos, of all the ones that do, Let's Plays are the hardest because not only is it hard to talk while you're playing a video game, but there's so many Let's Players. Like honestly, I mean, everybody wants to be PewDiePie. So
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah, that's pretty much what it is. But I mean, again, I'll put a Let's Play, and I'll be like, yeah, this was really fun. I had a lot of fun playing this, and I did a lot of funny commentary, and I get like 4 views.
Or you have like Epic Game Night.
Yeah, or Epic Game Night, yeah. So I mean, like, it's one of those things that don't get discouraged. If you had fun playing it, and overall, to me, I think it's just memories. You know, I can go back, watch a video like last night. It is the season. It is Christmas. And every year what we have is, because I play in the band as well, so every year we have something called a Grim Christmas, because our band's called Rictus Grim. So what we do is we actually film ourselves giving each other our presents and unwrapping them and, you know, stuff like that. And it sounds really, really hokey. It sounds really weird. But it was kind of nice because we watched 2012 Christmas special. You know, and I was like, man, I remember that. I remember my guitarist had hair. You know, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, definitely, it's a lot of fun though. But I guess I'm going to wrap this up because I'm going to go ahead and check out some of the other stuff. But I do want to thank all of you guys for coming out and checking out the panel, and hope to see you guys out on the floor, talk some more, definitely. And any last questions before I close it?
I wish. That would be fantastic.
But yeah. But yeah, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the panel. Like I said, thank you very much, guys. I do have some links to my YouTube. I'll go ahead and give all of you guys a little piece of paper that tells you guys about my YouTube. And be sure to check it out. If you guys open up a YouTube channel, send me a message. You know, I'll check out your channels as well, because that's what I like to do. Everyone that subscribes to me, I like to check out your channels as well. So it is a community and social. Meeting great friends is the real reason why I started this YouTube channel. So anyway, guys, thank you.